What is going on, guys, and welcome to another video. I hope you guys are having a great Wednesday. I didn't want to make this video, but I kind of feel like I have to. We have to talk about Alvin Kamara. Now, he has been arrested on battery. There is even now video evidence. So it's just unfortunate to see this. Like, you see a player of his caliber. He's 26 years old and he's about to turn 27 in July, and unfortunate that this happened. He also got a big fat contract not too long ago, and now it looks like his career is done. I don't know how you can come back from this. There's literally evidence that he did do it. Now, there are one of two things that could happen. You could either A, he's off the team, that's it, or B, he'll probably get on the NFL exempt list, which is like a list where if you did something, basically if you mess up, you get a suspension, and the second time, if you do it again, or if you do a certain thing, then you're pretty much kicked out of the league and you have to file for reinstatement, aka Josh Gordon. So yeah, like, this is unfortunate. I don't know why Alvin Kamara would do this. It's something about Vegas where players get in trouble, which is crazy to me, and it's just sad to see this. Like, he's a young player and he is top 3 back. In my eyes, he's top 5, and I'm just sad to see this. He is the cornerstone of that Saints offense. He pretty much carries the offense, because since Drew Brees retired, there's literally no one besides maybe Jameis Winston where it worked out, where the Saints offense worked out. And for a team that didn't have Drew Brees, by the way, they did pretty damn good. So yeah, I don't know if this is the end for Alvin Kamara, but today we're gonna make a video on him. We're gonna talk about his upbringing, we're gonna talk about high school, and we're gonna talk about college, and we're gonna talk how his NFL career's gone so far. And I mean, to be honest with you, it has gone fantastic until obviously now, and this is possibly the last time we ever see Alvin Kamara play. And Alvin Kamara played in the Pro Bowl game last Sunday, and I mean, there's video evidence now, so he's pretty much caught on camera that he did it. And it's sad to see someone with such skill mess up. Like, you know, Henry Ruggs, example of one, that a player that just messed up completely. You know, he had a long career ahead of him, he was going to be great, and he messed up, made a mistake. An example of a player outside of football is a soccer player named Mason Greenwood. He's 21 years old, I believe, and he messed up his career because there is a rape allegation against him, and Nike dropped him just like the other day. And now a young player like that will not come back from this. If everything is true, I mean, there's voicemails out now, but if this is all true, then he's done too. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Alvin Kamara. We're gonna give him a video. We're gonna talk about the highs, the lows, this being the low, obviously, that happened. So yeah, now before the video begins, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And until then, enjoy the video. Alvin Kamara was born on July 25th, 1995 in Atlanta, Georgia. He was born to a Liberian mother and attended Norcross High School. Kamara would rush for 1,300 yards in his junior season with 17 touchdowns. In his senior season, Kamara would rush for 2,264 yards with 26 touchdowns and caught 22 passes for 286 yards and 5 touchdowns. He would lead Norcross to their first state title, and Kamara was named Georgia's Mr. Football. He also received many accolades in high school, and he was selected to play in the 2013 Under Armour All-American game. Kamara was rated as the number 6 player in Georgia by Rivals.com. He received many offers from schools like Georgia, Auburn, and Florida. Kamara would commit and sign with the Alabama Crimson Tide, and he looked like he was on to do big things. It was not a surprise that Kamara would not see playing time with the Tide. He was behind 2 future NFL running backs in Derrick Henry and Kenyon Drake, but it was considered rough for Kamara as he had knee surgery and then redshirted as a true freshman. The running back room was stacked, and due to behavioral issues, Nick Saban would bar Kamara from practicing with the team, and he was even suspended for their bowl game as well. In 2014, Kamara transferred from Alabama to Hutchinson Community College, located in Kansas. In 9 games, Kamara rushed for 1,211 yards with 18 touchdowns and led the team with 1,469 yards of total offense and 21 touchdowns. This would earn Kamara a 5-star rating from Rivals.com, and he was considered one of the best JUCO prospects in the nation. He received offers from Georgia and Tennessee and chose to commit and sign with the Tennessee Volunteers. During the 2015 season, Kamara would start in every game with the Volunteers, but would split snaps with 2 other backs. In his debut against Bowling Green, Kamara would be responsible for 144 yards and 2 touchdowns. His rushing performance set a school record for most rushing yards in a debut game. He also became the 2nd player in Tennessee history to score a rushing touchdown and return a punt for a touchdown in a game against Western Carolina. Tennessee would finish 9-4, and Kamara would finish the year with 107 rushing attempts for 698 yards and 7 touchdowns, along with 34 receptions for 291 yards and 3 touchdowns. In 2015, 2016, Kamara was still split carries his junior year. He started in his first game in a 28-19 win over Ohio. He had his best game to date in a double overtime win against number 8 Texas A&M, rushing for 127 yards with 2 touchdowns, also added 8 receptions for 161 yards and 1 touchdown. He would miss some time during that season due to an injury, but when he was on the field, he was electrifying. He would finish third in the SEC with touchdowns to end the 2016 season. Kamara would finish his junior year with 103 attempts for 596 yards with 9 touchdowns, and also caught 40 passes for 392 yards and 4 touchdowns. He would forego his senior season and declare for the 2017 NFL Draft. When I tell you this running back class was stacked, it was crazy. Kamara scored the highest on the Wonderlic test during the NFL Combine among running backs, and many analysts saw Kamara going in the second round. With the 67th pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints would select Alvin Kamara from the University of Tennessee. Kamara would split snaps with the current starter, Mark Ingram, during his rookie year. He would finish with 120 attempts for 728 yards with 8 touchdowns, and caught 81 passes for 826 yards and 5 touchdowns. Kamara was the first Saint to have a 700-700 season, third by a rookie, and the 11th by any player. He also made the NFL All-Rookie team and also made the Pro Bowl with teammate Mark Ingram, becoming the first pair of running backs on the same team to make it. The Saints would go 11-5 and win the NFC South. They would take care of the Carolina Panthers and win 31-26, but fall short in the divisional round to the Minnesota Vikings in the game known as the Minneapolis Miracle, 29-24. Kamara would win Offensive Rookie of the Year and was ranked as the 20th best player in the NFL on the NFL Top 100 list. In 2018, Mark Ingram received a 4-game suspension, which paved the way for Kamara to start. In his third start, despite losing to the Bucs 48-40, Kamara would finish with 8 carries for 29 yards and 2 touchdowns, and also caught 9 passes for 112 yards and 1 touchdown. In his Week 4 performance against the Giants, Kamara would be the first player in NFL history to have 1,000 rushing yards and receiving yards in his first 20 games. The Saints would clinch the 1 seed and would win against the Philadelphia Eagles in the divisional round, but would fall short in controversy in the NFC Championship game against the LA Rams. He was ranked the 14th best player in the NFL on the NFL Top 100 list and also made his second Pro Bowl. In 2019, Kamara would still contribute, but missed some games due to battling knee and ankle injuries. He would finish with 171 carries for 797 yards with 5 touchdowns and caught 81 passes for 533 yards and 1 touchdown. The Saints would finish 13-3, but would fall short in the wildcard round against the Vikings in overtime, 26-20. Kamara would contribute 7 carries for 21 rushing yards with 1 touchdown and caught 8 passes for 34 yards. He would also go on to make his 3rd straight Pro Bowl. Before the start of the 2020 season, Alvin Kamara and the Saints would agree to a 5-year extension worth $75 million. In Week 2 against the Las Vegas Raiders on Monday Night Football, Kamara would score the first ever touchdown in Allegiant Stadium and the first ever NFL touchdown in Las Vegas. He would finish the 2020 season with 187 attempts for 932 yards with 16 touchdowns and caught 83 passes for 756 yards and 5 touchdowns. On Christmas Day in a win against the Minnesota Vikings, he rushed for 155 yards on 22 attempts with 6 rushing touchdowns, which tied Hall of Famer Ernie Nevers' 91-year-old NFL record with touchdowns in a single game. The Saints would finish 12-4 and beat the Chicago Bears in the wildcard round 21-9, but would lose to the eventual Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers 30-20 despite sweeping them in the regular season. He tied Dalvin Cook for the second most touchdowns in the NFL, trailing the leader Derrick Henry 17, and also made it to yet another Pro Bowl. In 2021, Kamara would go on to have another good year with the Saints. Despite missing 4 games due to injury, Kamara would finish with 898 rushing yards on 240 carries with 4 touchdowns and added 47 receptions for 439 yards and 5 touchdowns. He would again make it to the Pro Bowl, and this is where everything went downhill. On February 6, 2022, Kamara was arrested for battery resulting in punching a man 8 times. There were others with him, and reports also say that him and his group beat a man unconscious and broke his eye socket. There's also video evidence that shows and backs up the allegations against Kamara. Whether this is the end or not, it is unfortunate that this had to happen. Kamara would go on to be released after bail was posted later that night. He has a court appearance scheduled for March 8th on what happens next. The Saints or anyone who represents Kamara hasn't made any public remarks, but until that date, we won't know. But I would like to know from you guys, what do you think? Does Kamara return to the Saints in 2022 either suspended or not, or is his career as an NFL player done?